It can be a really fancy gift. It's stuff that here we find really simple. Like a lot of stuff that we take for granted living in America, and in other countries that a lot of times these things are really hard to come by. So I guess I can probably just pass this around. Kind of get a pretty typical shoebox. It's a lot of health things like soap and toys and toothbrushes, and then cars, and a lot of hard candy is one that we always did, because there's like a set number of things that you can't send because going through an airplane, all this transit and stuff. But yeah, so there's a list of no items, and a lot of those are anything related to conflict or things that could spoil and stuff, because these boxes really go all over the world. I got some numbers from my dad before I came in here. We send them to kids in 110 different countries, and so that's a wide variety of places anywhere. My dad has been to Kosovo, in Europe, where they are like ravaged by war, and they have had a really big impact there. And I personally went to Mexico. My sister actually sent a box and wrote a letter in it, and a lot of times this happens that the people who get the box will, if they have the means to do so, they'll respond to the letter. And she actually started being pen pals with this girl who received her box in Africa. And Stella, I wanted to bring her to talk to you today because she's from Ghana, and she actually received the shoebox from Stearns First while she was living there. So, yeah, let me see if there's some of these numbers. The 6.5 million were expected to be collected in the U.S. and over 8 million total this year. And so that's a really big, it's like a team effort that everybody, thousands and millions of people in the world are coming together to put together a simple gift that's going to make a really big impact in the lives of kids that don't really have anything like this. So my experience in Mexico, I was in 8th grade and I went down with a group from my church, and it was really a family thing. There were 3 or 4 main families, and then some other people that went with us. And we went and stayed in the Yucatan Peninsula, in an indigenous region where the descendants of the Maya and Indians actually live. And so we had a base in the city, and we had a really big supply of shoeboxes to give out. So every day we would go out to different villages, and they had a little play for all the kids to do. And so we would enact the story of Christmas and show the kids in Mexico through the language barrier, because we don't, in 8th grade we were far from fluent or proficient in Spanish, and they didn't know any English either, and a lot of times they only knew their tribal languages, so Spanish wasn't much of a help either. But we were able to act that out to show the story to them. And then the adults would kind of coordinate the handing out, and hundreds of kids would line up with their parents, and we would get to hand them the box and see the look of joy on their faces as they receive this gift that, I mean, it's simple. It's things that I have lying around the house, obviously, and a lot of us do. And for this, it's just such a huge gift, and it's a good symbol of Jesus' gift to us. That is like they don't know us. We just came and we say, we love you. Here's this gift, and we want to show you that God loves you also. And that corresponds with another thing that the program really emphasizes about Operation Christmas Child, is each box was processed at the processing centers to make sure everything in it is okay, which is a very non-intrusive thing. They just make sure they don't want to interfere with the gift that someone's put together, but they just want to make sure that there's nothing inappropriate in there. But they also put a pamphlet called The Greatest Journey. And this is something that's kind of been in development for a few years. When I was there, it was the greatest gift, I think. And basically what it is, it's a description of how this symbolizes God's gift through Jesus to everybody. And that's really what the focus of this program is that through giving this gift, which is a great thing and it helps the kids a lot, but it really is to show that Jesus loves them. He gave himself the greatest gift for them. And another thing that I really appreciate about all Samaritan's Purses programs do this, and especially Operation Christmas Child, is this isn't the kind of thing where they just fly in, give you a gift, fly back out and just leave you there. They do all of their work through local churches and local people. So they're there to provide resources and work with the people as they minister to the people that already live there. But when Samaritan's Purse isn't doing it, those people are still there, and Samaritan's Purse is just helping them do what they're trying to do anyway. And so they never leave them, and they have a good idea on the ground of what the needs are for that community and all of their projects, and especially this. So I think Stella is just going to give a really basic outline of how it was to receive a gift.
Yeah, some said it before, I am from Ghana, and I remember at a point in time, we moved from where we used to be, but every single year I used to look forward to getting the box for Christmas, and it was just an amazing feeling. My sister and I would be really excited when we had to receive the box. It's an amazing thing, and just know that people all over the world really appreciate what you're going to do. So if you're thinking about it, you should definitely do it, because people like me really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. In the car, I have some pre-made boxes and some of these pamphlets if you all are more interested. I know you probably already collected some this year, about what you're saying. So let me know if you're interested, and if not, I appreciate what you've already done. So thank you.
We invite you to ask questions.
For sure. Love to answer.
Have you ever been on a trip with Franklin Graham?
I have not. My dad actually works pretty closely with him in like the upper parts of the Samaritan's Purse. I did go to one of the trips I went on. I was able to go up to Alaska, and they bought a fishing lodge in this wildlife reserve, and they're renovating it to use as a ministry for wounded veterans and their families. So when they come home, they have a place to go, be together, do counseling if they need it. And so what we were doing was just kind of revamping the whole, turning it to a fishing lodge and to like a nice place for people to come and stay. When I was up there, Samaritan's Purse has a conference center up there, and Franklin Graham had the house up there also, and so we were able to go, and like it's a really good place because that's like in one of their projects. And so while we were working on it, we could go and see what that was like, the kind of front office feel of Samaritan's Purse as well as the projects.
Are they all spent overseas?
I think so. There aren't any sent domestically, but they have, yeah, they are all sent overseas. Canada and the United States are two of the biggest collections, and I think some European countries do it as well. But they all go to.
I did read where 6,000 boxes will be reserved for the native Indians.
Okay.
And the reservations that are here in the United States. So 6,000 of the boxes that are collected this year are staying in the United States and will be distributed mainly to the Indian reservations.
Because even pretty much anywhere in the United States, the standard of living is very high, and the thing that makes this such a beautiful program is that our standard of living, such a simple gift, is such a huge privilege for someone else to receive.
Well, all the planes that are used to carry these boxes, are they planes that belong to Samaritan's Purse?
They are not. They actually loan planes. For a while, they had two of the biggest cargo planes in the world, just carrying all these boxes in different places. They have, in the United States, they have collection centers. There are a few. Then there's one in Boone, where I'm from. I think there's one in Charlotte also. And so they process it there, and then they'll take them to airports, and they'll fly them out. Samaritan's Purse doesn't actually own any cargo planes for this because it's not really like an efficient use of resources. Because it's useful for Operation Christmas Child, but the rest of the year there's not really enough use to merit like American people. So.
You mentioned your dad, he's CEO of the Samaritan's Purse, is that right? Or
he's
Operation Christmas Child, or what?
He's his title is the Vice President of Finance, it's essentially the CFO.
He's just a promoter, he just travel around and promotes the operation, is that correct, or?
No, he does a fair amount of traveling, but he's mainly on the business side, like the receiving, the donations, and payroll, and all the financial stuff.
Okay.
But it's been cool because growing up there, and there's a church that a lot of the people who work at Spring First go to, and that's the same one that me and my family do. And our families, and my family is very close family friends with the family of the man who's head of Operation Christmas Child. And so that's been, he kind of coordinated this trip that I went on to Mexico. And he's very good at his job. It requires a lot of travel and a lot of time. But he's been a huge blessing through it.
So your family kind of travels with him at various times, is that correct?
My family has been on 2 trips with him, and then I've gone on other trips that my dad has said this is a good project that we can help with, and so that we can see what kind of work experience person doing in other countries. So we went to Mexico for the Operation Christmas Child, and then I didn't go, but some of my family went to Uganda with the family of the man who's the head of Operation Christmas Child. And then we went to Alaska to work on those projects. And my brother spent last summer working in Nigeria, just doing some renovations to a hospital that they're going to be working in there. So my whole family's been really blessed by having an opportunity for my dad to work with Samaritan's Purse and for us to be able to help and see what kind of work they're doing. I think that's all of my siblings and I are definitely very missions minded because of that. I think we're all seriously considering doing work with that after we graduate. So.
Sam, tell them a little bit about, I know Samaritan's Purse has sent